First, take 3 buckets, 2 with the holes 90 degrees away from each other, 1 with the holes 180 degrees from each other. And then you're going to go ahead and position them all with the top half-inch grommet facing the same direction. Then you're going to start working on the return line. First, you're going to start off with a piece that's going to have a 3/4 inch by 1 inch reducing barb that's going to be connected to that 3/4 inch tubing, then a 3/4 inch ball valve tubing, then T. That's going to be one piece. Now that T is going to connect to the first bucket and then also the 38 inch piece of 3/4 inch tubing. And that's going to bypass the second bucket, running all the way to the third bucket where there's going to be another T. And that T is going to connect to the other bucket with the holes 90 degrees apart from each other. And then there's going to be an elbow that'll point up with a 18-inch piece of 3/4 inch tubing that'll just run upward. As you can see here, this is the third bucket. And you can see what I mean when I say the 90 degrees apart from each other. The middle bucket's going to have the holes 180 degrees from each other, and that's going to use the straight jumpers of 3/4 inch tubing / barbed connectors. Those are already put together. Should have 4 of those. That'll connect your center bucket to your first and last bucket, as you can see. And there's the connections, or the holes 180 degrees from each other. If you look closely, you can see the 1/2 inch grommet there up at top. And now you'll see the jumper between the second and the first bucket there. And then here we look a little closer at the front now, or the middle, where you actually got your teeth connecting. So far you would have the entire return line connected, or majority of it between the first side or the left side of the system. So you're gonna have the 2 jumpers that'll have two pieces each that'll be connected between your first and middle and third buckets. And then your 2 T's, one connecting into the first and one into the third bucket. And then at that point, you will want to repeat that for the second side. When inserting the barb fittings into the grommets, to use warm water or a lubricant. Now a little tidbit to add, you're going to see that in this picture here, you've got the zip ties are included. One's going to go around one of the barbs on the inside of the bucket, one on the outside of the bucket, and then one on the tubing where the connector is inserted into the tubing. This will assist in just securing everything. You don't necessarily need to do this or use any of them, honestly, and you should still maintain a watertight connection for sure, but that is just there for additional security purposes. Just so you can feel a little bit more confident, but I've never had anyone have any complaints. If you choose not to, I would not be worried about it creating an issue, but that is there for those reasons is what those are. Now I want to take a look at the feed line after doing that to both sides. So you're going to have basically a piece of 1/2 inch tubing that's going to have 2 T's and an elbow in the mix. The elbow is going to go all the way down to the end to the third bucket, and then the 2 T's should line up with the middle and first bucket. Then you'll see in this picture the 6 arms or branches that go to each individual bucket. You'll have the ability to control each bucket and its flow. You go ahead and connect that to your elbow and your T's. And basically that elbow and T that's going to run alongside the return line will force the water then to pressure upward towards the elbows, releasing into the individual buckets, which obviously the 90 will insert into the grommet. So now that we've got the return line connected to each individual side, as well as the feed line connected to each individual side, So now we need to get the return lines and the feed lines connected to the reservoir and the water pump. Now, connecting to the reservoir, you need to insert the 3/4 inch to 1 inch reducing elbows. The 1 inch end will insert into 1 inch grommets on the sides of the reservoir, and those will connect to your 1 inch reducing straight barb that we looked at the very beginning of the video. And for the feed line, there's a 1/2 inch T that you'll plug into the front of the bucket that has already got the tubing connecting out to the left and right side. There's also a ball valve that's on each one of those that will connect to your left and right side feed lines. That way you can just turn off the whole side, left or right, instead of having to do each one individually if you need to shut down one side for any particular reason. And finally, on the inside of the reservoir, there'll be about a 1-foot-long piece that will connect on the inside of that T, and that will connect to your water pump. And other than going around and verifying all of your fittings are allowing for one barb to be on the outside, and to go around and install your zip ties on the fittings and tubing as discussed earlier, you should be ready to or add water. I guess the only other thing that I didn't talk about is that elbow with the longer piece of tubing at the end of each side. That is an air relief. You don't have to. You can definitely connect those two, to spin those elbows down and connect that piece to make one solid loop if you desire. Otherwise, it'll work either way. With it open, it allows for air to release, but once you get that air released initially, you shouldn't have an issue.